The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a successful motivational speaker and trusted life coach, Nancy knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about burdens. You know, all of us go through times in our life where we feel like we're a burden to another person, or we feel like life's challenges are burdening our ability to be free, to go after our dreams and our goals. If you're struggling with a burden in your life, or if you're feeling like you're a burden to those that you know and love, then today is the day that we want to give you the motivation to get past that feeling, get that negative self-talk out of your mind, and get you into action so you can truly be living your life full out. Also, we're going to have our inspirational guest on the show in the next segment, Herta Sanders. She's dealing with dementia. She's in the mid stages of a 7-stage progression, and she's going to share with us what it was like getting the original diagnosis, where her condition is today, and how she sees the outlook for her future. It's going to be a very powerful interview. You don't want to miss it. Also, we want to take your calls. The number again is 800-333-0001. This is the time for us to give you that empowerment that you need to grab hold of those goals in your life and not just put them aside and wish they could happen. This is the time that you tell those burdens, get out of my life. I'm worth it. I'm better than what I'm settling for at this time. So in fact, we're going to go right now to our callers. We have first caller. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Thanks for having
thank you
me.
for calling in. Of course. How can I help you today?
All right, so I'm having trouble just staying motivated and productive, even when, like when I'm like struggling with daily stuff like the school and like not having friends to hang out with and stuff like that.
And let me ask you a quick question. Do you not have friends to hang out with because you're in a new place where you don't know people?
Yeah. I just started at a new school, and it's been definitely a little bit hard to make new friends and keep old ones.
Okay, you know what? I want to address two things with you today because I feel you, okay? I recently moved to a new location too, and I went through that same process. So first of all, just engage in as many things as you can. If you can join a gym or even through your school, if they have any free fitness classes or programs, just showing up, you might meet one new person. Also, going out to eat. Don't just eat at home. I know it saves on the budget, but when you're out there and you're in front of people and around people, you never know who you're going to meet. Joining clubs is another good outlet. There's a website that I've used before called meetup.com. And if you go to meetup.com, they have activities of all different kinds. And when I say that, when I reference that site to you, those are a lot of times free events. You don't have to pay anything, and you can meet people. So there's ways in which you can engage and get out there. You're not alone. In fact, I feel bad for all the people that haven't met you yet. Think about the good friend that you're going to be to someone, and when you show up and go out to lunch, go to a meetup group or even attend a fitness class, think of that person that gets to meet you and how awesome that will be. Now, in reference to your other question in terms of staying motivated, what has always helped me is to close my eyes and to envision who I want to be. what I want to look
Yeah.
like, what I want to be doing. Because it's really important to keep your dreams near and dear to your heart at all time. So for me, I will close my eyes and I will envision hosting the show. I will close my eyes and I'll envision myself 10 pounds lighter, right? Everyone wants to be a 5 to 10 pounds lighter, right? You just want to dream big, okay? And during those days when you're feeling lonely, when you're overwhelmed, that dream inside you will keep you going. I promise. Have you done that?
I've tried, but I guess maybe this was a little push that I needed.
Well, and today, tonight, do it even when we hang up on the phone. I want you to go in, lay on your bed, close your eyes, maybe put on some music in the background, nothing distracting that you're going to sing to or anything, but just let yourself close your eyes and envision what you're shooting for. Because whenever we go to school, or we go to our jobs, or we work out at the gym, or we do anything, think about your intention, think about your goal, and keep striving for that. And let that, kind of like a magnet that keeps pulling you along. You're never going to go off your course because that magnet will keep pulling you to your dream. Okay?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, go out there and take that nap. Close your eyes. Dream
All
big.
right.
And let us know how it goes. All right. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for
Thank
calling
you so
in.
much.
Take care. Bye-bye. So again, it's really a matter of just allowing ourselves to take a moment to be in the moment. And I think if she does that exercise, she's going to be able to tap into an emotion, a vision that will carry her through the hard days. Now, we're getting word from our producer that we have another caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hi, thank you for calling.
Nancy.
How can we help you today?
Hi,
Hi.
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. Sorry about that. Just to put a little, I have a question, but just to put a little context behind my question.
Sure.
I just recently moved to university. I was going to community college, and I was living with my family, and I kind of had a routine going on, kind of like an efficient routine. I would go to work, go to school, and try to envision what it is I needed to do afterwards, the next step. And as a positive news, like I finally moved out, I have all this freedom, and now I'm kind of hit with all these distractions, and I sometimes kind of forget to snap myself back into the bigger picture. I guess, like, my question is, like, how can I move forward even with those distractions to keep myself still, to see that bigger picture?
Well, I'm going to give you a choice. Do you want the good news or the bad news first?
You know what? Let's take the bad news first.
All right, life is full of choices. Okay, here's the bad news. The bad news
Okay.
is life is always going to shake it up. Okay?
Yes.
Just when you think you have life figured out, just when you have a routine in place, just when you've made the friends, you've got the career, it's going to shake it up. It's going to switch things around on you. And that is the journey of life. So you were kind of complacent. You were comfortable in your old surroundings. And then you moved out, which was a positive, but it kind of shook up your world. And now it's for you to troubleshoot, to figure out what does that next chapter look like. Now that's where the good news comes in, right? Because it is a new chapter. Consider yourself as the author of your book. Right? So you can design your story however you want it to go. So you don't have to do the same behaviors, the same habits you did before. You can write a new one. You don't have to hang out with the same people, attend the same restaurants, even do things the way you were before. You can do a whole new routine. It's exciting because it's on your terms, and some things are going to work and some things aren't. But again, you want to take this time to kind of feel life through. If life was all figured out and no day came with anything unexpected, anything new, that would be pretty boring, wouldn't it?
That's true.
Right? That would be pretty boring.
That's so true.
But that's not what you're about. You're a go-getter. In fact, you define a lot of what it means to live full out. I love it when people shake it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to take that same vision you have for your life, that hunger, to achieve your goals. And just go out there and create new habits that are going to support you. And I have no doubt you will land on your feet.
Awesome. That sounds great, actually. I definitely need to do that. That's true. Like,
Well,
definitely having new habits.
Well, I believe in you, and the time is now to engage in those new habits. But I want to thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And for everybody who's listening, when we come back, we're going to have our inspirational guest, Herta Sanders, on the show. You don't want to miss it. This is the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and we'll be right back.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic.
Maybe it could be an outdoor cat that lives in our neighbor's yard, 3 doors down.
Mom.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Your daughter is having trouble learning French. Do you A, hire a tutor?
Bonjour.
B, enforce a French-only rule at home? Or C, watch some foreign films? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same. You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Drop that baby.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional motivational speaker, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello, I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about burdens. There's so many in our life when we think about just the random flat tire that occurs and throws off our day, or when we're caregiving for another person and perhaps they feel as though they're a burden to us, or we feel as though we're not doing a good enough job. All that negative energy is one that we just have to take and throw out, right? Because it doesn't serve us in our ability to live full out, stay positive, achieve our goals in life. If we allow ourselves to feel the heaviness, the depression of being a burden, then we're not able to thrive. We're not able to attain those goals. So part of the reason why we do this show is to give you that motivation, is for you to feel as though you're not alone, because you're not. I want you to know that after this show, if you need resources, we always want you to reach out to us. You can email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Again, that's connect@livingfullout.com. Also, we want to hear from you if you have an inspirational story, one that you think would educate and inspire our community. Again, reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com and tell us your story. Let us know what it is that you went through, how you survived, so we can pass that along to our community. Now, our inspirational guest today, Herta Sanders, is no stranger to feeling like a burden, to dealing with the throes of life and all the things that could come at us. In fact, she was diagnosed with dementia just 6 years ago and has experienced memory loss before the diagnosis and all the way to today. And she'll share with us even her fears and concerns about tomorrow. So I'd like to welcome Herta to the show. Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much. I really am honored that you invited me to your show.
Oh, you know what? There is only one you in this world, and I mean that sincerely. Everybody, she is just, I just want to hug her every time I talk to her through the phone and today on the show. So you are a dear, and I appreciate you sharing your story with us, because dementia, Alzheimer's, they're kind of a mystery to so many of us, and it's scary to think that we forget things, and not just forget things, but that our memory is being lost. And so we are so much in gratitude today for you being courageous in sharing your story with us. Can you take our audience back to the early signs of when you started to know that something was off, something was different?
Nancy, I'm so sorry. I cannot hear you.
Oh, okay. What I was saying is, could you go back maybe 6 years ago and let us know what were some of the early signs that you started to know that something was different?
I think the first difficulties I noticed was at work. I was at the time working for the University of Utah in the Gender Studies program, and I was both teaching in the program and doing administrative things. And one day I was in a meeting. It was a Women's Week committee that I chaired, and I had made an elaborate agenda. And then when I was in a meeting, at some point, my head just went somewhere else. It didn't feel to me like I was just not taking notice, but suddenly I almost didn't know where I was. And then when I sort of came back, there was somebody speaking, and as soon as he's finished, I did not know what we were talking about and where we were in the agenda. And so I just looked at my paper, and my eye fell on introductions. And then I just said, why don't we introduce ourselves? And the minute that came out of my mouth, I then remembered that I had already asked people to introduce themselves, and people there noticed. So they were very kind about it, but the very fact that they were trying to be comforting to me made me aware that this was something that was clearly noticeable to everybody.
Yeah, and it's great that you had the support of your colleagues at that time and that they were good to you, nobody knowing what was to come in terms of your diagnosis. Did your family also see signs along the way?
I'm so sorry. The hearing is, I cannot hear
That's
your voice.
okay.
It just fades away at times. I apologize.
Okay, that is okay. Were there signs along the way where your family started to notice differences also?
Oh, yes. It was another occasion where our whole family, my 2 children and their spouses and our grandchildren were here. And I believe it was Easter morning, and they'd come for breakfast. And the night before, I'd made a casserole because I'd noticed that things just take me longer and longer to make. So I made the casserole, looked up a recipe, the Amish casserole, and put it all together the night before. And in the morning, I set the table and sort of had everything ready. And when we all sat down at the table, I realized I had not baked the casserole. It's supposed to bake for an hour. And it had just not entered my mind. And then I was very upset. It wasn't like a tantrum or anything, but I just sat down on a chair and I cried. And my family could see I was very upset, and they knew already by then that I told them about my memory loss. And it's as if that moment served in our family as a clear sign that this was not a senior moment.
You know, Herta, I feel you on that. And having been going through becoming legally blind, I had those scary moments as well. Ones where I started to see my eyesight go away, and I could see, in your stories, your memory was starting to go away. So I'm with you in that struggle. And it's really important that everybody listening today, that this could be any of us. And again, Herta, you are so courageous in your ability to share this story. What I want to focus on, because I know we're going to be coming into a commercial break here, when we come back, I'm going to want you to tell us about the day that you were diagnosed and kind of some of the plans that you had to make for yourself going into the future. So will you stay with us into that next segment?
Certainly, I would love to. Thank you.
Perfect. And so everybody, when we come back, we're going to be joined again by Herta Sanders. And just think about dementia and just how scary that is to be losing one's memory. But you can stand up during even the most scariest of times and claim your life back. And Herta's story, while it may have sad and tender moments, she thrived and she's living full out today. So we can't wait to hear the rest of her story. This is the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and we'll be right back after this break.
Papa! I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Here we go. We're going to go out there in the rain. You're going to get wet. All right, here we go. Go, okay, oh, yeah. Yes. So much fun. Mwah.
Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt. Oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants. Oops.
it pretty?
Daddy,
It's pretty.
Maybe I'll sit
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Connor is struggling in school.
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund reading.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. 1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the show. I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about burdens and how in times in life we just feel sad. We feel hopeless. We're concerned. And that's because we fear sometimes that we're a burden to other people. And our inspirational guest today, Herta Sanders, she could have felt that way. And perhaps there have been times that she has felt that way for her family. But she stood up and said, you know what, dementia is not going to get the best of my life. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to live my life full out. And she chose to do that. And we all have that ability to override those burdens in our life and choose a better path, to choose to stay positive rather than letting negative thoughts, flitter into our mind and overcome us. So I'd like to welcome Herta back to the show. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you, Nancy. Good to hear your voice.
You're welcome.
Again.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. So I want to go back to 6 years ago, just before your 61st birthday. That's when you were diagnosed with dementia. But share with us, when you heard those words, what did that mean to you?
It was both a moment of shock, but shock that almost immediately turned to comfort. And that it may sound strange, but if you know something is wrong with you, and for me it was my children partly, they observed it, but when a medical person told me that I had not been imagining these odd things in my life, I'm looking for the word, it reinforced my belief that I still had enough rational sense left that I was not just making this up. And the feeling that my judgment has not been wrong in that, that was what led to the relief part of the naming of the diagnosis.
That makes sense. And in fact, I remember when I got my RP diagnosis, I had a similar feeling. It was scary, but at least I knew what was happening and I could take action in whatever way possible. Now, can you teach us a little bit here with dementia? What are the different stages? And what stage are you in currently, now 6 years later after your diagnosis?
There is a scale to measure the stages of dementia, whether it's caused by Alzheimer's or, in my case, it's called by microvascular disease. And the scale starts with number 1, which is kind of just the awareness. I think stage 1 for me was when I was becoming aware of things at work and at home, but it was not really, it was not to a point that I thought I have to know what this is. I could still manage. And then at the stage of the diagnosis, I think I was between maybe stage 2 and 3. And stage 2 is also, it's as if your symptoms just got a little bit worse and you just are having a harder time than you have to use more workarounds to do what you were before. And so it goes on. But stage 3 is really the first time that a doctor will tell you are now in a stage that has the word dementia in its name. So I believe that after my last neuropsychological test, my psychology and doctors agreed that I was probably in the beginning of stage 4, because that is when you need considerable help. For example, I cannot do my budget without my husband, which is very sad because now he knows every penny I spend. But certain things like that. Also, at about the time, shortly after I was diagnosed, I just realized I could not drive anymore. I was a danger on the road. So I voluntarily gave up my driver's license. And that is a stage where you just need help with driving. I need help just when we leave somewhere and we go out the door. I need my husband just to help me see that I've got everything on clothes-wise, sort of in the right order on my body. And sometimes these are not just little things like maybe I forgot the earrings, but that I'm wearing my slippers or something. So it's just that you can't quite get through your day without needing help, and that's sort of where I am.
And when you look into the future, obviously there's 5, 6, and 7 to come. How do you grapple with? How do you try to stay positive amongst knowing what is coming?
For me, it was a decision in our family that comes from a long way away when just the way we brought up our children was really to face truth, not to try to, and also not to be afraid to speak to each other about an uncomfortable truth in our family. So we were able to speak about it, and together with our children, we were able to plan for the future. And Peter has always been incredibly good with organizing our family finances. So he knew, he knew what everything was. But we then just used we actually found a financial consultant and our tax lady, and with all those people together, we planned financially for my future for a time when I would need more help than the family can provide. And we were fortunate in that by living very modestly in our retirement, we were able to put enough money away that I have peace of mind that we could have help in the house at some stage. But the most important thing for me was that I really don't want to reach stage 6 or 7 where the person with dementia is not really aware of the surroundings. They don't know who the people are who visit them. They may recognize them as family, but you might think that your granddaughter is your daughter, and you weave in and out of time frames. Now, that in itself to me is not, that you can still have a worthwhile life when you can do that. But when you can no longer interact with people, or when it takes my husband 2 hours to get me dressed, I do not want to reach that stage, and so therefore we have planned for an assisted suicide.
Okay. And when you think about the time that you have left before you would reach stage 6 or 7, what do you want to do at that time?
I want to live just honestly and with integrity every day of my life, and my priority is my family and friends, to spend as much of the time I have that's still good time, to spend with them and enjoy family events with them, and just enjoy every day with my husband, Peter. And we take time out every day. We have every meal together, usually, and we just sit and talk. And at night we usually watch a video or something on TV, but we sit there and we hold hands and we sit on our lazy boy couch and we just enjoy being together and being in each other's company. That is what I want to do with everyone I love. When I'm in their company, I want to be able to be fully there as much as I can.
I love that. I love that. And, you know, when I think about when I got my diagnosis and having RP and becoming legally blind, I realized for me that it changed the way that I saw the world. It actually even changed the way that I saw people, because I don't see people visually. I see them through their personality and their spirit. How has having dementia changed you as a person?
I feel that my lack of memory, and my memory loss comes out much more in when I interact with objects in the world, when I'm trying to brush my teeth or make coffee or anything like that. So daily, I have many, many times, I won't even call them moments because they're longer than moments, but I have periods of intense frustration, which also leads to anxiety. And microvascular disease is particularly prone to anxiety, whereas Alzheimer's apparently is not so much. So I have the anxiety wherever it comes from, but it's triggered by just not being able to do the right thing. To everything I do, I have to try 3 or 4 or 5 times before I can follow all the steps through without getting sidetracked. So that is something that is definitely a negative. But a positive is also that I find it easier just to sit in a room and just be in that moment. I don't feel... I used to never be able to be without a book or doing something useful. And now there are times when I can just sit down and just be. And that to me is a gift that I appreciate.
You know what, Herta? That is a huge gift. And for me, I learned how to be patient. You can be, and I can be patient. We're a team. Yeah. You know what? I want to thank you very much for being on today's show, because you have just given us so many lessons. I encourage everybody to go back and listen to this interview again, because we never know when we're going to be in your position, your spot. And I love that you've thought so much through. And again, that this diagnosis, this experience that you've gone through has allowed you to just be in life, and you can't ask for more than that. So thank you so much for being on our show today, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and you are an inspiration for me and for everyone else. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And when we come back, we're going to be taking more of your calls. We want to keep you motivated, help you to live life full out. We'll be right back. This is Nancy Solari and the Living Full Out Show. Stay tuned.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. 1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high-five.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Feel as though you're putting pressure on others in your family or friends. Know that you have the ability to stand up and not settle for letting those burdens control your life. It all starts with having a positive attitude, knowing that your life is worth it, that it's waiting for you to grab hold of it, and just cast those burdens aside. They have no place in your life as you start to live full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you again for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And we've been talking about burdens in our life, or at times when we feel as though we're a burden to someone else. And I'm hoping that during this show you've identified a place in your life where you might have that feeling. And that over the course of our callers calling in, our inspirational guests, that you've been able to take away a few lessons to give you that motivation to not settle for being a burden, but standing up and grabbing hold of what you want in life. Together, we can take those heavy chips on our shoulder and just toss them away and feel lighter. And it's not just words. We can actually do that. You have to believe in yourself and what you're striving for. Now, we're going to go back to the phone lines and talk to one of our callers. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for calling in. How can we help you today?
So my question is that I've been married for about a year now, and my husband's ready to have kids, but I'm a little scared to have kids. I have a very demanding job, and I'm afraid that because of the demands of the job, I won't have time to spend with the baby or bond with the baby. What can I do to make these fears go away?
You know what? You ask a great question. I'm curious. In your job, do you have others at the same level of you that have children?
Yes, I have other coworkers that have children. And when I talk to them, they say that it's hard.
Okay, it's hard. Now, other than it being hard, have they given you any remedies for how they navigate those waters, how they do it?
They've told me, that you have to work as a team, with your husband, and you have to share the responsibilities because one person can't do everything. And then they also have, family that helps.
Okay. And that depends on whether or not you have or do not have that same family ability. But what is it that, well, actually, I'm going to switch the question. Do you even want children one day?
I do. I'm not sure when the best time would be to have kids.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible that there is never a good time?
Yeah, a lot of the people that I've talked to about having kids, they say, you can't plan for it. But I don't know. I get nervous about not having enough time to be with the baby.
Have the nervousness that you feel right now, have you ever been nervous about anything in your life before?
Well, I think when I was going to school, that made me a little bit nervous because of the stressors of having to, do all the things I needed to do to get my career going. So.
And did you worry about getting a job after school? What that would look like?
Yeah, because I knew what I wanted to do, and I just didn't know where I would fit in as far as the work field was, And I just thought it was a little stressful.
So you went from being nervous about school and the demands and what kind of job you would have and would there be a place in that career for you, but then you did find a job, right? You did graduate. So what I want you to realize is these feelings that you're having right now, the nervousness about having children or building your family, you've been here before. So it's important that in life we always look back at our past, because when we're at a crossroad in life, chances are we've been there before. And you want to look at what got you through that pressure back when. What helped you source through in your body how you felt and what you needed to do in your life to make changes. If you kind of ponder that and maybe journal about it and remember back and you apply those same life skills that you used to get through those times to now, I think you're going to find that it isn't about building your family today or even next month. But if you apply those same skills to building that family, I think you'll be fine. And staying in communication with your husband and just kind of putting together a plan. But it doesn't have to be a pressure. It should be something exciting. But the only way to get from anxious, feeling pressured, to exciting is to think it through, journal about it, communicate. That's all you can do. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
That's really helpful.
You're very welcome. Well, have a wonderful day, and thank you for calling in.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So I want to thank everybody who listened to today's show. Our entire team is dedicated each week to, again, giving you the inspiration and the tools that you need to take action in your life. I want to say a special thank you to Rich and to Roger and Kenny and Chris and everybody who has put their 2 cents in, their talents, their time, their energy into being here with you today. And most of all, I want to thank you, the listeners, for being with us. And we very much hope that you were inspired by today's program. And again, if you have questions, please do reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. We'd love to be here to help you out. And we want to hear from you. If you have an inspirational story, again, connect@livingfullout.com is the way to tell us about that story. Also, you can go back and listen to this show and all of our episodes by going to livingfullout.com. We look forward to seeing you next week, and also reach out to us through social media. We share a lot of motivational videos and helpful, useful tips through Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great day.